everyone, people call him the problem, this and that. I wonder where Man United would be if Cristiano wasn't in the team. I really do.
United have been saved once again by Cristiano Ronaldo. Just check this. It's his 60th hat-trick of his career. Some players don't even get 60 goals. I didn't get 60 goals. I'm not a goal scorer, but I didn't get 60 goals. And he's the problem, by the way. And reports are suggesting that the new manager doesn't want to work with him. Like, I don't know who's writing that. Without Cristiano Ronaldo's goals, 20 plus goals this season. Like, his goals ratio this season, if you take out penalties, is better than that of Mohamed Salah. But he's the problem.
Sokin. They can never do it like I. When you see man pull up and slide, man stepped in a room with legends, Rio and Steve, you know it's a vibe. Check the podcast, what you wanna know? Don't ask me, go and ask Joe. If you're talking Premier League, he's on the front line and I gotta go. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. Vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know this.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for this week's episode of Vibe with Five. You got here myself, Joel Bayer, Stephen Howson, and a special guest today, Mr. Secret Scout, the future of football himself, Anton Ferdinand. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Man, the privilege of having, a Premier League player here. How many Premier League appearances have you had, by the way? I always forget.
I don't know. I think it's just shy of 200, I think.
Okay,
Just
200 plus. Man,
yeah.
Are you going to be getting into coaching? What are you actually currently doing? Like, is it coaching? I know you do your punditry stuff.
Yeah, well, the punditry stuff, obviously, I'm really, really enjoying it now. Starting to get more work.
Mm-hmm.
You're on everything.
Pardon?
You're on everything. Every weekend I see you on everything.
You're on BT Sports, Sky Sports.
Do you know what it is? I think doing the Secret Scout is helping me. It's helping me become better in front of camera.
I've got a lot of time for Jaden. One, because he's from the same area that I'm from, in Peckham. So to see someone from where I was brought up doing things that he's doing, it means a lot to me. And watching him trying to fulfill his potential, it's exciting. He's a player who, when he was at Dortmund, game after game, churning out numbers that are astronomical. Hit a bit of a blip at Man United, but not all the blame can go to him. He's in a team that don't play for him at times. Mm-hmm. He's in a team where he has to do more defensive work than he's used to doing, which takes away from his attacking attributes. And also in a league where it's very, very different. I think people seem to forget that because he's English, that he should just be able to come into the Premier League and hit the ground running and deal with the pace of the game. He's not played in the Premier League. This is the first year he's playing in the Premier League, by the way. He's played in a competitive league in the Bundesliga, but it's different to the Premier League. So give him some time. And I've always said it, if he gets the minutes on the pitch, you will see a different Jadon Sancho to what you've seen so far.
Always good to have you on. And we know that there's lots more coming from you on Five. Steve, I think we've got to give a massive shout out to our sponsors. You know who they are. Sokin.
Yep. As always, our sponsors, Sokin. Listen, big week. You've got United Liverpool tomorrow. Not that I'm looking forward to it, but let's be honest, it's a big week. The battle for that fourth spot somehow still on. No one wants it. Champions League spot is heating up. And obviously, it's all about Europe. Semi-finals of the Champions League are coming up. You've got City and Liverpool heading over to Spain. You've got West Ham fans heading over to Frankfurt. And if you get signed up for Sokin, you can come and use your app and your card in 38 different currencies. You've got an easy-to-use built-in app. Wherever you are, Sokin is accepted. You can use it on airlines. You can use it in hotels. You can use it in restaurants all the way across Europe. Download the app. Links in the description and open your free account today.
Bam! Hey, Steve, I hope you've been using your Sokin card for real, man.
I haven't been away, mate. I am desperate to get away.
Yeah, you can still use it here as well. You can still use it here. We want to give a massive shout out to the other shows that we've got: Gazette Dello 5, Secret Scout, and of course, there's much more coming. Ballers and Watches as well is out right now. Fan comments. Make sure you get your comments in below so we can read them out at the end of the show. Let's start off with your game, Stephen Howson. Man United versus Norwich 3-2.
Right, guys. Yes, I am back. I'm here. Obviously, can't be there with you right now, but I had to check in, man. Big weekend, really. Man United. I didn't watch the game live. I watched it since, but I watched the game. I was looking at the results coming in with my boys, and it was like 2-0, Man United flying. But deep down, I never felt absolutely confident, just because of the way the season's gone and the way the team plays at the moment. Inconsistencies all over the place. And I keep saying, every week you can go back and have a look at Jekyll and Hyde. Great 1 minute, poor the next. And my boys are saying, Dad, Ronaldo's got 2. And all of a sudden, Norwich have got 2, and you're sitting there thinking, wow, we are like the team that are going down. We're getting run right over. I mean, it was mad. I don't know, man. I watched the game since, and you just look at it, and it's just like individual mistakes, decision making when we're defending. You can point at every single player that are making mistakes, that then there's a domino effect that knocks on to somebody else, and then the whole back 4 unit and the midfielders in front just kind of just become so disjointed that it's impossible to defend. Disappointing, man. With that in mind, you've got Liverpool coming up as well. And you just think, wow, play like that and we'll get pumped 4s and 5s.
Oh, I thought you balls that up, man. First of all, Ronaldo, aka the problem, bangs in 2, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be an easy night for United. Then Norwich come back, make it 2-2. What are you thinking then? Talk us through what you thought of the game as a whole.
I'm thinking that this United team's very easy to play against. I see the back 4 is just 6s and 7s. We can't effectively deal with... I mean, I do a preview every week. If I can tell you, the one thing Pookie's looking to do is run off in behind. And that's the major, pretty much only threat that Norwich are going to pose to you. And you concede by doing that. That's actually pathetic, isn't it? Like, how are we identifying this sort of stuff and we're not able to stop it? Some of the back 4 defending as units was absolutely atrocious. I dug Harry Maguire out over the weekend over it. And I don't know where this like white knighting's happened for Harry Maguire lately. He was completely all over the show. And some people were like, well, this guy was out of position. This guy was out of position. All right, cool. He's the captain. I don't know about you lot, but I expect more from the guy that's supposed to be the captain, supposed to be the leader. That's the responsibility that comes with wearing that armband. You're the one that's supposed to organise. I don't see a lot of that from him. Not to say anybody else in that defence, really shone, because they didn't. All of them were crap. But conceding 2 goals to Norwich, who are comfortably the worst team in the Premier League, when we have to go to Anfield tomorrow night, absolutely terrifies me. Yes, Ronaldo came in clutch. He does what Ronaldo does. We had a couple of decent moments, but we didn't really carve them open. We weren't creating chance after chance after chance. It was a worrying performance. It was almost testimonial pace. And weirdly, Juan Mata comes on and looks one of the better players on the pitch.
Again, that's happened a couple of times this season, and it's confusing. When I saw, I think it was Norwich's first goal, like you mentioned, we're not here to dig at Harry Maguire, but I think positioning was important there. It looked like he didn't know whether to go, follow his defender, or you know what I mean, or stay where he was. He was very indecisive there, Steve. What were you thinking when you saw that?
Well, I've started watching him really closely because he's been annoying me lately. So I've been over-watching him, which is, I end up doing this. But a couple of seconds before that, the ball had gone into that left-hand channel. So it's switched, and I don't know if that was a deliberate thing to think where Pookie was going to play up against, but normally he's the left-side centre-half. This weekend, he was the right-side centre-half. So I don't know what the reason for the switch was there, especially when he's playing with someone he's played with multiple times before. So he's switched, and the ball's gone out in behind Delo into the channel, and I was thinking, don't go into the channel. And he didn't. He stayed inside the box and allowed Delo to come and recover. And I literally remember saying to myself, sitting here watching it, going, oh, that was good play. Like, he's used his head there, and he's not rushed in to go and make a challenge. He's actually assessed the situation and allowed what happened to play out and kept himself in a good spot. 5 seconds later, they come down the same side, and he overcommits. He ends up following a run. I mean, this is why we tell kids dummy runs are important. And you've just seen an £80 million centre-half get done by what was an obvious dummy run.
Yeah.
He gets dragged right out of position. They play a ball in behind where he was and would have swept up if he was in the right position. The 2 other lads, Delo and Tellers on the far side, Tellers and Lindelof on the far side, they can't come in because they're 3v2. They can't come across and try and cover that space. It was just an absolute shambles.
And then Doyle comes in, back post, headers it in. Anton, as a centre-back, your opinion is important here.
Yeah, well, for me, Harry Maguire, you defend the box. You defend when you're centre-back, you're taught to defend the box. When there is dummy runs, it's identifying that. But the only way that you can not go with your runner and stay centre of the box is if other players around you are doing their job. Like Elanga should be going with that runner. I know he's looking at the ball, but when you're Man United and you're in, let's be honest with it. Man United are in problems. When you look at them, their defensive shape, they're in problems. You need everyone doing their job. That's the reason why we see a different Harry Maguire for England than we do for Man United, because at England, everyone does their job and the team is set up for defenders to solely concentrate on what they're doing and not have to organise left, right and centre, which to me is, as a defender, you naturally should be organising anyway. That's part of your job. That's part and parcel of your job. That's probably one of the biggest parts of your job, is to organise and to speak. But when the structure plays for you, you don't have to do it as much, which is why I think he's fallen into a situation now at Man United where either he can't organise and chat, or he's so used to not doing it with England that he don't feel he needs to do it at Man United. Well, to be quite frank, he needs to start doing it at Man United. For there to be a better structure in front of him, yes, he's got to be given to him by the coaching staff and the management, a structure for you to look at and you to be able to identify and be able to pull people around. But you can't rely on just that structure to do what it needs you to do, what you need it to do for you. You have to organise, because anyone who plays football understands when the ball moves, players move, the picture moves. You've now got to piece that picture together and make that picture right and solid for you as a defender. And he don't seem to be doing that. And that's why he's getting dragged out, especially for this goal. He's getting dragged out of position because players ain't going with their runner. But he can say to Elanga, stay with your runner. He can actually command that, and even after the ball goes in, you don't see the body language. Oh, it's not one of those where you turn around and you go, for me, I would have hammered Elanga there and say, like, how are you not staying with your runner? But I would have been able to do that because I would have told Elanga why the game was going on to stay with his runner. I would have gave him a heads up before it happened.
Have you seen how little he scans?
Pardon?
Have you noticed how little he scans?
Yeah, and this is all part of being a defender. You have to. It's not about just being able to defend, which we know he can defend because for England he does it in a structure that's done for him, that's made for him. But when you're in a structure that isn't maybe what you're used to or what you're comfortable in, because he's not comfortable defending 1v1, he's not comfortable defending high, but he has to at Man United because you're a team whose philosophy is to play high, win the ball high, and attack. That's what fans want to see at Old Trafford. But to be able to do that, you have to organise from the minute your ball leaves your foot. From the minute the ball leaves your foot to go into the final third, you have to start organising. And I don't see that from not just Harry Maguire, but any of the defenders, Lindelof. I think for Man United to even think about challenging, they need centre-backs. They need centre-backs. For me, Lindelof ain't a Man United centre-back either. If you want to win the league, Lindelof don't play. He's nowhere near it.
I want to focus on, after that, obviously, Pukki scores as well to equalise. Then Ronaldo goes on to do what he does. And I keep calling him the problem because it doesn't matter who you support. You can't deny this guy's greatness.
United have been saved once again by Cristiano Ronaldo. Just check this. It's his 60th hat-trick of his career. Some players don't even get 60 goals. I didn't get 60 goals. I'm not a goal scorer, but I didn't get 60 goals. 60 hat-tricks. Just let that marinate. Let that sink in a little bit. And he's the problem, by the way. And reports are suggesting that the new manager doesn't want to work with him. Like, I don't know who's writing that. Whoever's writing that they can't have proper conviction in their pen when they're writing that, surely, or in their fingers when they're typing. You can't. Without Cristiano Ronaldo's goals, 20 plus goals this season. Like his goals ratio this season, if you take out penalties, is better than that of Mohamed Salah. Like, it's crazy. But he's the problem. There's so many people in the media that say, oh, Ronaldo's the issue at the club and he's the problem. Do you know what I think the biggest issue with Cristiano Ronaldo at the football club is? He's just managing minutes. He wants to play. He wants to just score goal after goal after goal and be relied upon all the time. Now, he's at an age where minutes might need to be managed. That's the biggest thing that I can sit there and go, you know, what could be an issue for the incoming manager with him? It's not quality. It's not goals. It's not deciding matches, because he gets that stuff done. It's just managing someone of his age's minutes. And I think all that boils down to is a conversation between men, manager and player. Listen, son, all what you've done in the game's great, blah, blah, blah. But listen, this is how it's going down. I need you for these moments, big specific moments. This is where I'm going to play you. This is how it needs to be done. Fall in line. That's it. It's a simple conversation. And I think Cristiano then has his say. Like if it's Cristiano, any player, you have your say. You talk it out, and just tell him, listen, this is how it's going to go, man. I want the best for the team, and I know, listen, you're going to get me goals. If any manager coming to a team knowing that a certain player they got in their squad can get him goals, wants to utilise that player. So I just think it's funny, people trying to create a narrative where Cristiano's a problem, but when you see this guy banging in goal after goal, and he might have bad performances, that's just normal, but people that do what he's done down the years, you look at him, you look at Ian Rush down the years, how many bad games he played but banged in 2 or 3 goals and people forget it. Gary Lineker, Wayne Rooney, I've seen have bad games, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Andy Cole. I can go, the list is long and it's just a long list of players. Karim Benzema, lately, Lewandowski. How many bad games do these guys have? But score a goal, performance gets wiped away, people forget the performance because it's a goal. And it seems that Cristiano has not afforded that at the moment by some quarters in the media. I don't understand it. But yeah, man, listen, Man United, they with a bit of luck, they got through in the end. Again, Ronaldo hat-trick, but they have to step up. They've got Liverpool coming up, man. Liverpool on fire. Liverpool rested. We'll get onto them in a bit, but if we're to compete with a team like Liverpool, just right now, we need to liven right up. Like, just do your jobs, man. Don't need a team talk. I wouldn't even do a team talk for Liverpool. You do all your work during the week, get to the game and say, listen, boys, that's it. What more do you need than to hear them boys, them guys out there that are going to be screaming for you? Families, men, women, girls, boys, of all ages. You know what it means. Bosh, go and deal with it.
Everyone, people call him the problem, this and that. I wonder where Man United would be if Cristiano wasn't in the team. I really do. Steve, I saw one of your videos the other day, and you were like, do you reckon he should be moved on? Because I heard you say it, and I think you're wrong. I don't think you're. I do. I think you're wrong, if I'm honest with you, because I watch your previews, even when I don't tell you. I thought you were wrong there. I just didn't have the time to message you. Talk to me about his performance, please.
He had a good performance, but against Norwich, you know that you're not going to probably have to do too much pressing. You know that you're going to live in their half. You know this isn't going to be a game that you needed to run in 14K. And United at the moment are a team where they need every single player to be working, because we don't have the quality. Even if Ronaldo does or did, right, whichever side of the fence your opinion is on that, whether Ronaldo does or did have the quality, right now, I think Manchester United need a team of workers, first and foremost, and then we need to improve and add the quality to that. I don't think we're in a position where we can have a passenger and have someone who's there solely to score goals, because he will score goals. His finishing this season's been really good. His last-minute winners, have been there. He carried us through the early part of the Champions League. He scored goals. He scored 20 goals this season. I think we was all talking at the start of the season. I think we might have said 25 goals would have been a great season from him. He might get 25 goals. He's going to be tight, but he might get 25 goals. He's certainly got over 20 now. But I think if United want to go in a new direction with a clean slate, I would say Cristiano, well done. You came back. The curse of the number 7 shirt was broken. Congratulations. Now move off to, Sporting or wherever it is that you're going to go next. Manchester United needs to start building a team that's going to challenge in 5 years. Ronaldo won't be here in 5 years. And anybody that's not going to be here in 5 years, why are we wasting time with them right now? United need to start. We're going to make mistakes in the rebuild, right? 100%. There might be 40% mistakes in the signings that we make. So we need to start making those mistakes. We need to start churning through those players, trying to find those right ones. We need to go in and sign a new centre half, find out whether he's good enough or not. We need to try Jimmy Garner out, find out if he's a Premier League player or not. You need to go through all of these decisions. And one of those decisions is going to be who's going to be Manchester United's number 9 for the next 3 to 5 years, because it will not be Cristiano Ronaldo. So you might as well make the change now. Allow him to leave on a relative high. He scored 20 goals. Don't have him here for the rebuild.
Anton, would you say he is the problem at United at the moment? Yes or no?
Ronaldo and the word problem within a dressing room, within a football club, just don't make sense to me.
Oh, by the way, I'm not saying it's a problem. I just throw that before Anton carries on. The problem. I'd say it is, and look to move.
Comments were going to cook him.
He can't be a problem. I mean, if he is a problem, then that means the youngsters around him ain't willing to listen. When you're the GOAT, when you're the best, you can't be the problem. You can only be beneficial. But it takes people to want to listen and to heed what's going on and what he's bringing to the club, not just on the pitch but off it. The one person who seems to be taking heed is Elanga, and you're seeing what he's doing. You can tell their relationship just by the celebration of them, but him inviting him to sue with him.
That's complimentary stuff right there, isn't it?
Ronaldo don't invite someone to do the sue if they're not reciprocating what he's giving them, what he's drip feeding them. He's not inviting you to do the sue if you don't want to listen to what it is that he's got to offer. I think so. I think a lot needs to be looked into that in terms of the problem. The problem may be the young players not being what young players are today, which entitlement and a lot of young, not all of them, but a lot of young players having that entitlement feeling and feel like they know it all, and if you can't learn from in my opinion, the GOAT, then I'd say you're the problem.
Who did you learn from, Anton? Who did you learn from when you were coming up at that tender age of 19 years old?
If I'm being really honest, I didn't have people to learn from. I was already, in my opinion, and when I was playing, especially at West Ham, I knew I was already better than the centre backs who were ahead of me and who I was about to play with. Danny Gabidon, when he came to the club my first year in the Premier League, I was able to learn little things off of him. But the main thing was, and I've heard Rio speak about it in terms of his relationship with Vidic. And I'm not saying mine and Danny Gabidon's relationship was anything like Rio's and Vidic's, but Rio and Vidic didn't have to worry about each other. They just knew where each other were on the pitch and done their job. They communicated and done their job. That's what mine was like with Danny Gabidon. If he was 1v1, I didn't have to worry about him. I knew he could deal with it. And it was likewise, same with me. If I'm 1v1, he would leave. He would cover me, but he wouldn't overcover, which would then give, if the striker's the other side of him, give the player a chance to play him in and him have a lot more time. He could actually be in the right position because he knew I could deal with 1v1 situations. And I didn't really learn from people. It weren't until
that's a problem though. That's a problem though, isn't it? Because I know you're going to say you learned till you met Wes Brown at Sunderland, but that's a bit of a problem. If you're that young, would you not say that can heed some sort of complacency when you already know I've got the natural ability here, I've got the best natural ability here? That's usually when you need that mentorship. No?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely. And I like to think that I gave that to a few players. I was able to give that to a few players who made their, I think 6 or 7 players made their debut next to me. And I like to think that I gave them that in terms of that leadership and and teaching them and run them through the game vocally, you know, making sure they understand certain things, especially in the Premier League. There's little things that you need to know. And just as a snapshot for you, I played my first testimonial with Rio. First time I ever played with Rio in a game. It weren't a competitive game, but in a game. Was Tony Carr's testimonial. I learnt more in that 40 minutes than I did in the whole of my career.
Wow, yeah,
from Rio. You know, playing 40 minutes, just the way he spoke, what the information he gave me and why he was giving me that information. It wasn't, and this is what I mean by young players taking on information. I wasn't just listening to the information he was giving me. When he was giving it to me, I would do it, and then because I was in a testimonial, it's like training. He was giving me the information, I was doing it, and then dissecting why he was giving it to me. Mm-hmm. So I'd replay
example, because we've spoken about this offline. So when he'll tell you to shift here and there.
Yeah, so when he'd tell me, if a player goes in, he would say to me, Anton, go tight, but he would say, go tight to the right. Yeah, so I now know I'm not going in tight straight on. I'm going tight to the right of him, because if he turns left, there's someone there. There's a midfielder there, because he's organising the midfielder to tackle back. You know, he's organising the midfielder to tackle back, but he's organising the midfielder to tackle back. Does it not blow your mind?
This is a testimonial game.
Yeah, but he's organising the centre midfielder to tackle back on the left-hand side. So he's telling me to go tight to the right. So he's now snookering. He's basically snookering the striker. The only place he can go to keep the ball is go backwards. Because he can't turn right. Because if he turns right, he's turning into me. If he turns left, then he's turning into the centre midfielder.
And when you're 19 years old, it's hard, because if you're basically, you've got the most natural ability as a young player, shall I say?
Yeah.
How much more would you have learned if you did have a Sol Campbell or a Rio next to you, or, you know, a Jonathan Woodgate, any one of those other players at the time that were killing it, that you would have improved your game massively, I'm sure.
And this is the thing, we spoke about it on the Vibe with 5 episode with me and Rio. We spoke about it briefly. But that's what the likes of Cahill, Dawson, who went on to play for England in the under 21s, they didn't play ahead of me in the under 21s, but they went on and played for England. But what they had is exactly what we're talking about. Cahill went on to play with John Terry, arguably one of the best to ever play in the Premier League as a centre back, you know, and happily gives his time and his energy and his knowledge and wisdom onto young players that he plays with. Cahill got that. Dawson went on to play with Woodgate and Ledley King. Two arguably the best as well, especially Ledley King, you know, who, for someone who had major injuries, he's a player that a lot of strikers talk about of being the hardest to play against. And if I'm being honest, if he was fit, does JT have the England career that he has? I'm not quite sure. I think it would have been Rio and Ledley rather than Rio and JT if Ledley had a knee, basically. But that's what Dawson had, and that's what Cahill had. I never had that. I was already the best in my back line. I was already the one who was the organizer. I owned the back line, and I didn't mind that. I liked having that responsibility. But when you go and play with someone like Rio and the finer details that he's giving you, you know, and it's not everyone you can play with can do that. It's not everyone you can play with. You can give them that information and they can implement it. I found it hard sometimes to implement that teaching that Rio gave me. I find it hard to implement it with certain players because some players don't have the knowledge or the understanding or the know-how to implement them finer details. And that's the difference between people who go and play at the very, very top and people that don't. I know that I could implement them because when he was giving me that information, I knew exactly what he was saying to me. I knew exactly what he was asking of me. So I think if I did have that that grounding and have that support and to play with somebody of that ilk, I think I would have been I would have been fine.
Thank you, bro. That's a really, really good explanation right there. I just wanted to go
I
back
don't
to
think we can get
Ronaldo.
over the fact that how much Rio was talking and organising in a game he shouldn't have given a toss about. Like, can you imagine it was actually an important game?
But this is the thing. He was giving me that because I was his brother, probably. He was trying to teach me because I was his brother.
So, yeah, Ronaldo, 20 goals this season. He scored quite a few doubles. Newcastle, Atalanta, Arsenal, Tottenham, Norwich obviously got hat-tricks against the latters. He's just put himself onto the leaderboard there for most direct free kicks scored in Premier League history. David Beckham, who had a decade out of the Premier League, is top of it with 18. James Ward-Prowse, who's an unreal free kick taker, he's on 13. Ronaldo, Terry Henry, and Gianfranco Zola all on 12.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
He's had 13 years out of the Premier League or something, 12 years out of the Premier League.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
And I see people like yourself saying, I don't even know why he's taking free kicks. He ain't going to score.
Did Steve say that? Did Steve say it?
His free kick ratio is pretty poor.
Yeah, no, it is not known to be too great, to be really honest with you.
No, it isn't. It isn't. But
when he's flying
when
like
he's
that,
on that
you
form,
take it, don't you?
When he's on that form,
yeah, man, he's got to take it in it. A bit of a deflection, but it was still good stuff to see. I want to move it on to the FA Cup game on Saturday. Man City, FA Cup semi-final, shall I add? Man City versus Liverpool. 3-2 to Liverpool.
Liverpool rested seven or so players or 8 players in midweek in Europe in the quarterfinal of the Champions League in Benfica. Still didn't get beat. Bring them back in and they deal with Man City. And moving on to that game, by the way, it's weird because City still had a lot to do in that Atletico Madrid game, so they couldn't rest players. Liverpool, in contrast, rested 7 or 8 players and brought all of those starters back into the game, the FA Cup game at the weekend. And Pep had to change 7 players to freshen it up, and it made his team weaker, where Liverpool made their team stronger. So it was I think if that game had finished at half time, I would have said the pendulum would have swung and momentum would have swung to Liverpool's favour. That they beat Liverpool convincingly and really Liverpool did. I mean, Man City didn't get going in the first half, and it was a beating in the first half, and you thought, wow, confidence, momentum, they could be the favourites for the league now. But I think the fact that City changed it second half, got 2 goals back, that I think now the confidence will still be there. It won't be shot enough to really put them off beat now. So I'm still convinced City are the team to win the league, but I think it's going to go to the wire.
I'll be honest with you, when I saw the starting lineup, I thought that Liverpool had a better 11 versus City's 11. So I gave it to Liverpool straight away. Did you watch the match, Anton?
Yeah, I watched the match. I watched the Liverpool match.
Yeah. What was your take on the game?
I think Pep trying to utilise his squad because obviously the one that he does want is the Champions League. So I think he's utilising his squad more than Klopp. But ultimately, I think the difference for me was Thiago. Thiago was an absolute orchestrator in there. The way he dictated the game, and this goes back to the management and the man management that you see from the likes of Klopp. When Thiago first came, everyone was talking how he slows down the play, slows down Liverpool's play too much. He's the problem why Liverpool they don't press as high anymore, and they don't do this when they went through a period of transition with players like him coming into the team. But with the man management and also the mentality that Thiago has as a top player, he's come through it, and now he's dictating games like he did on Saturday in the FA Cup semi-final against arguably the best team in the country, in Man City. And I had this conversation with a few of my friends. The arts can that be taught in terms of getting up to speed with English football and that? No, it's a mentality thing. It's a mentality thing. Whether you want to run, whether you want to understand and realise you don't have as much time as you did have playing in other leagues. And how quickly do you get it? Every player needs time to adapt. You know, we spoke about this about Jadon Sancho, didn't we, Steve, on Secret Scout. People just assume that he should be up to speed because he's English, but he's never played in the Premier League. He needs time to get up to speed. It's just so be it that Thiago's taken a lot less time to get up to speed, but that comes down to, like I said, his mentality to want to do it quicker, but also the players around him. I know for a fact Jordan Henderson is on him in training. I know for a fact Jordan Henderson is saying to him, "You got to do it quicker." Gets caught with a ball, he gets told. I don't see that in Man United with Jadon Sancho, but I think this is why you're seeing a different Liverpool with when he's in the team compared to when he was in the team when he first came. And I think, obviously, you look at their whole structure. Van Dijk looking unbelievable, looking solid as ever, looking back to his best. But then, pardon?
Konate as well, though.
Konate looking good as well. But again, he's playing with somebody who organises. He's playing somebody that helps him through the game, you know. And then we have to speak about the man, Luis Diaz. He is an absolute joke. The way he's come in and hit the ground running.
Flying.
By the way, the way he's come in and hit the ground running. And we're talking about Liverpool's front three before he came were a joke. Jota, Firmino, Mane, Salah. He's hit the ground running so much. People are saying he's the first one on the team sheet out of all the attackers. That's how good he's been. Wow. But you know what I like about him? And I had this conversation with Jordan Henderson. I love the fact that he's a flair player, but he loves the graft. He loves the other side of the game. He don't mind getting tackled. If he gets tackled, he rolls his sleeves and says, "Come on, let's go." He's got that different South American mentality where it's, okay, I've got the samba, I've got the skills, I've got this, I've got that. But you know what? If adversity comes my way, I'm going to face it up and I'm going to deal with it. And I'm going to show you my South American roots. And I love that about him. And arguably, ultimately, that is the reason why Liverpool done what they done to City. They were on the front foot. They wanted it more. And when their big players got opportunities to score, they put the ball in the onion bag.
I mean, Sadio Mane, man of the match, 100% shot accuracy, 100% long ball accuracy, 3 shots on targets, 2 goals, 9 goals versus Man City in his whole career. I mean, what a year, man. Like, the guy's won the AFCON in general, you know, EFL Cup, FA Cup final. He's won it all. UEFA Champions League, Premier League. He's just an incredible player. Steve, I don't ever hear you talk about him that much, but I presume that you rate him highly.
Why would you hear me gassing up Liverpool players? Think about it.
Well, I'm just I just want to hear you.
Think about what you're saying to me.
You know, why not?
Do you appreciate how good he is, though?
Of course he
I
does.
think a couple of years ago, I'd have said Mane was probably the better of him and Salah. I think he was ahead a couple of years ago. I think he's fell off a little bit this season. He's been a little bit inconsistent. Decent this weekend. Probably not going to get the credit he deserves. So I think there's bigger names in that team that seem to get more love than he does. He's been a sensational signing for him, though. At a time when they was picking up everyone wanted from Southampton, and everyone was just like, "What's going on here? Why? You think you're going to actually do anything by just signing Southampton players?" But they did. You know,
Can I say one thing though? What's his biggest attribute?
I think his intelligent timing of his runs. He's obviously blisteringly quick. He's got good dribbling, but I think the timing, sometimes like he's Chicharito had it, didn't he? Like timing inside the box just elevates everything that you do. And I think timing of his runs is sensational. And I don't know if you can teach that. You can teach better touch. You can teach better finishing. But timing is something that I don't think you can teach. And I think that's what sets Mane out. I think that's what sets Salah apart as well, because you look at him and you go, I don't get why
all he's doing is running in behind, running in behind.
But
He does it.
You and it don't work for Dan James. Like, why?
Yeah.
What's the difference here?
But also, I think Mane's decision making, I think, is really, really tops. We were having a debate last week, Steve, about Raheem Sterling being world class, yes or no. Kieran Richardson and Rio were saying he is. Me and you were saying that he just falls under, right? But I reckon Mane's better as well, and the difference is his decision making for me, because he's not quicker than Raheem Sterling. You know, he might not necessarily be more skillful than Raheem Sterling, but for me, pardon, what did you say? But he's a better finisher and he makes better decisions. You know, I think that's the difference personally.
I think you got to look at his work ethic as well. His unselfishness, and his work ethic. Look at the goal that on Saturday where he shut down the goalkeeper. You know, maybe Ederson would have chopped him. I don't know, because Ederson's like another player on the pitch. I can imagine Ederson to be don't give the ball away and keep balls in training. I can imagine
that's what he's tried to do, hasn't he? He's seen Ederson do it last week. Like anyone do that.
And I think like just his work ethic, but again, it's going to kill you for me to say it and for you to hear it, Steve. But that's the difference between the two clubs with in terms of Man United and Liverpool. Man United buy players based on their stature and their name. Liverpool buy players who fit the mould of the philosophy that the manager is bringing to the football club. Every player that comes through the doors at Liverpool has to fit the mould of the structure and the information and the work ethic of the manager and Jurgen Klopp. There's not one player who don't graft.
But I disagree with you, Anton. I disagree with you there, because Lindelof weren't no name when they come in. Bruno Fernandes arguably weren't a name when he came in. So, you know, I mean, that's two players there, and I'm sure that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, yes, they paid a lot of money for him, but he weren't like, you know, everyone wants him kind of thing.
Yeah, but there's no method to the madness.
Correct.
I hear you.
But those guys, we don't necessarily know who signed them. Was there some sort of longer term plan? Because I know that when Jose was there was no director of football. But I know Ed Woodward and Matt Judge was approaching him and saying, for an example, right, he wanted to get rid of Luke Shaw and he wanted to bring in Danny Rose. Now, that might have been a bad decision. That might have been a good decision. But what United wanted him to do was to sign Sessegnon instead. And that's what they was presenting to. So I don't know who was making that football decision at United. But Jose didn't like Luke Shaw. He tried to bring in Danny Rose.
I just think there's no method to the madness. I think, like, there's a method to what Liverpool are doing in terms of, okay, 100%. This is the criteria. This is what players that come through the door need to have this, and this. Because if you've got these attributes and this type of mentality, you can play for me. You can fit into this team. You can fit into this squad as a person and a player. Man United, I think, by individuals. Like Wan-Bissaka, we need our right back ain't good enough. Raphael's gone, so we need a right back. Let's go and sign Wan-Bissaka. Not looking at the 5-year plan of why we're signing him. This is the reason why we're signing him. Like Luis Diaz he's been signed at Liverpool. He wasn't necessarily signed for this year, but it's just the fact he's come and forced his way in because of his mentality and his attributes that were looked at before anything else. He's probably signed for the next 2 years when Sadio or if Salah goes or Sadio Mane all of a sudden goes. There's a method to what they're doing. Man United don't have that.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Well, we signed Wan-Bissaka because at the time he'd had a great start with Palace, and he did. He showed a lot of promise. We probably thought that he could develop the technical and in possession side of his game. But if United knew that we was going to transition from being a counter-attacking side, which we were really effective at being under Ole, into a team that had a high line and wanted to press from the front, then signing Wan-Bissaka and signing Harry Maguire were not good ideas. You know, we looked at the attributes that Wan-Bissaka had, And we look at what he was replacing, which was Tony Valencia in a big way. And it was like, what's he got? Well, he's quick, he's strong, and he can defend. And he used to be a winger. So that's what they're thinking is we'll replace him because that's what Tony Valencia was. Not realising that, yeah, as we've seen in recent years, the fullback game has completely developed.
Completely changed.
That's in possession the most. And in possession's his weakness.
That means that it's Liverpool versus Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Now, we're going to skip past this game really quickly. We don't need to go into it too much. Arsenal losing 1-0 to Southampton at St. Mary's. Wasn't a great performance, but who cares?
Wait. Where's you going up about top four now? Eh?
What did you say?
Where's your top four? Where's you going up about top four?
It's still there, isn't it? It's still there.
No, hold on a minute.
Wait. We don't need to focus on this.
The way you're trying to scurry over this, the way you're trying to hurry up over this. Oh yeah, because previous weeks when Arsenal winning, you want to talk. You want to smoke. You want to talk. When Arsenal
can't be doing the same dance every week. It's boring now. It's boring.
No, but you want the flowers when Arteta's doing well and when the team's doing well. You got to take the
Jan Bednarek. Big up Jan Bednarek. Great goal. We move, innit? It's not our year.
Can I ask you your opinion on this, please? Yeah. You want to get in the top four, right? Stop checking the what? You want to get into the top four, right? You got a striker who arguably is one of the best finishers, yeah? When he's given the service. Like we're seeing. Oh, you did have the striker in Aubameyang, right? Yeah?
You know why he's laughing? Because
why?
We were talking about Lacazette. That's why.
No chance. Not a chance.
I'm talking about Aubameyang.
Right?
You can't score goals, and he can't not score goals. He's flying.
You're trying to get
creating chances.
You should be in the top four with the games that you've had in hand and the run that you've had. You should be in the top four, like comfortably, and cementing that top four place to yourself, especially the way you've been playing. Then all of a sudden you got Nketiah playing up front for you. No, but you had Aubameyang. Do you not think you only get rid of him, regardless of what's happened off the pitch, the problems that he might have been causing? As a manager, you're paid to deal with that and make sure that the players are doing their job on the pitch. Okay? Do you not think that Arteta should have put his ego to the side, made him understand that the world of football, not just English football, but the world of football is watching you because it's been put on blast to the world about your antics? Come and score 20 goals after the season for us, and that shuts everybody up. And then you get rid of him in the summer.
Anton, in an ideal world, yes. But let's look at the schematics of the situation that was at hand. When he was having the issues with Aubameyang, first of all, Aubameyang weren't banging goals for like a year.
That's because he was playing left wing.
He had a poor season. Sometimes he played up top as well. He wasn't just left wing the whole time, right? He had a poor season last year. He had issues last year to the point where he had to get dropped for big games already last year. He's the captain of the club, and we're hearing countless claims of being late. Even when he's being fined, who's picking up the fine? Who's doing the fine systems? Poor old Kieran Tierney. Can't tell him nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's tough. So, what you do, for the sake of the team, right? For the sake of the team, because it's all well and good now saying, oh, you should have put your ego to the side. No one was complaining 3 games ago because we were doing really, really well.
All of my friends are Arsenal fans. I've been saying this since he's gone. Not even when you was winning, I was saying it when he's gone. The only way that I get rid of Aubameyang if I'm Arteta is if I've got a replacement. If I
hear that, but you're not
get rid of him.
And I hear that, but I think for the sake of the team, you saw that for a long time it was working. But you got to look at where we are at the moment, man. It's too many.
You had about 9 games in hand on us.
It's too much pressure, Sharpsy. It's too much pressure for Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, who I know has been coming on and off the sub and stuff like that. But Odegaard, we don't have those senior players to guide us through. You were talking about senior players.
Odegaard's senior player. Odegaard is a senior.
Senior? This is his first year in the Premier League, mate. Let's check.
Odegaard has played. Listen,
second, but first proper year. Let's just say, yeah.
Odegaard.
How old is he?
Odegaard is seasoned. He's not unseasoned. He's not.
How old is he? Odegaard has barely played football in his life, mate. He was at Real Madrid getting benched for how many years? Listen, man, we need the experience to guide us through, and we don't have it. Ben White, it's his first season. Gabriel is still 22, 23 years old. That's Anton Ferdinand at West Ham right there, needing someone to push us through. So
no, don't compare me with him. Don't compare me
with him. Yeah, it's true. When you're looking at Kieran Tierney, obviously he's been injured here and there. Our right backs, Cedric, who, you know what I mean? We can talk about that another day.
Joe, just remind me what I said. You was in a false position because you had no European football. And as soon as you had all of these games to play, go back and find it, because I told you. You had all of these games to play, 2 games a week. Just like the rest of the big clubs, like us and West Ham. We had
You're not a big club,
big
bro.
games.
Don't fool
we had
yourself.
big games. We played twice a week, not once a week.
West Ham got slapped by us in January as well.
Anyone can do that, right? Arsenal play once a week like the Paddock. That's how small.
On my IG, you'll see me and Anton went to that game.
Once a week FC, right? And you could handle it because you had all week to prepare. Suddenly, you've had 2 games a week to prepare, and you've shit the bed. You should have been comfortably in that top 4. You shouldn't be looking at being on the same amount of points as United. You're going to get smacked about this weekend 2 times.
We're playing Chelsea first, by the way. Playing Chelsea first on Wednesday. We'll see what's going to happen, and then we got United on Sunday. Listen, it's still all to play for in top 4 because Spurs don't want to
6 points ahead of you. We won't be, by the way. We won't be. We will not be.
Yeah, Spurs don't want to either.
We're getting tomorrow.
Spurs don't want to either.
Everyone's doing their best to give it up to somebody else. I
don't know.
You've got 3 teams who are just bottling it, innit? Chelsea. Yeah, Tottenham have always been known as the bottlers. I think Arsenal have got it and Man United have got it. They're all giving it up to each other.
If we'd have that Everton game, so not been level on points with Spurs at the moment, we've dropped some absolute stinking points this month.
But saying that, running through the other fixtures really quickly, we don't need to keep talking about Arsenal. Tottenham losing to Brighton, Trossard getting a goal for Brighton. I mean, like what we just said, it's as if they don't want it.
And you know what? It's lucky we won. It's not all doom and gloom. We won. We got the 3 points. That's what you want. But we just wanted to do it against a team that's going down a bit more convincingly. All while Spurs and Arsenal are dropping points, by the way. Spurs and Arsenal are dropping points. Joel, where are you at, bruv? Where are you at, Joel? Joel Bayer. Still Arteta in or out? Where are you? But no, Spurs, Brighton going there and doing a job they did. Brighton Mr. Potter's doing a great job down there. But Spurs, man, it's toing and froing in North London at the moment. 1 week Spurs look like the team, then Arsenal look like the team, and now none of them look like they want to be the team. They're giving it to Man United, it seems, but we'll see. But it's a big couple of weeks coming up, man. Some big games for all the sides in that chase for 4th. West Ham as well, who are flying, by the way, in Europe. What David Moyes has done in Europe and in the league with this West Ham team is phenomenal. He has now given that place, West Ham, the home stadium, the Olympic Stadium, he's given that place some soul. Him and his team have given that place a soul. I'll leave it there. It's weird, man. It's a big week. Big week coming up. Chelsea have got Arsenal. Massive game. Can Arsenal turn it around? I don't know, man. It's been a bad couple of games for them. Chelsea look to be back in form. Got himself back in the final. Shout out to the boys, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount with the goals, man. I mean, wow. I don't see Arsenal getting a result there. And United have got Liverpool. I touched on that earlier. Liverpool could rest players and probably still beat us. That's how good they're playing. That's how far ahead of us they are at the moment.
Leicester losing to Newcastle 2-1. I reckon
Flying. I think that needs, you got to pause on that and just say I don't think anyone's picked up as many points as Newcastle except Liverpool in the league since January, I think, or Christmas.
Wow. He's doing a good job, Eddie Howe, isn't
it? He's doing a fantastic job. He is. I thought it was going to be very, very. It probably has been hard from inside there, but from the outside looking in, looks like he's done it in his sleep. What he's done, but what he's done, he's consolidated the back line. and he's got them playing, and he's playing players in their rightful position. Joelinton playing in the more deeper role. Who saw that coming? He identified that ASAP. He identified that within the first 2 weeks of coming into the squad and started playing him in a deeper role, and he's thrived off of it. That tells you the level of intelligence that Eddie Howe has, and his attention to detail.
And Gumare, what a player! Ooh.
And a new hero based on the weekend. That them 2 goals are the goals that have made them safe. So he's the new hero, brought in January, and scored probably the 2 goals that the Newcastle fans will look back at and think that's the game where we were safe.
It's true. It was a big performance. I don't know what's happened to Brendan Rodgers. I think since he was linked for the Man United job, and he heard Steve complaining, it's all gone downhill for him since then.
I'll tell you what's happened with him. He's never been any good.
Oh, here we go.
I can't agree with that, Steve.
I'm not gonna engage in that.
I have to agree, but I'm right.
All right, cool. Brentford doing what they've been doing, beating Watford 2-1. My gosh, Norgard and Janssen with the goals for Brentford, and Christian Eriksen has now provided as many Premier League assists, 64, as Alan Shearer and Gareth Barry. Oh, man, only 15 players in the competition's history have more. Christian Eriksen, what?
He's a joke.
Well done, man. Well done.
Are we getting into the fan questions?
Yeah, I think. Well, besides that, saying that Chelsea just about scraped beating Crystal Palace. Am I hating? Of course I am. I thought the function was going to hit him a little bit more heavy, but it looks like it's going to be Liverpool Chelsea in the FA Cup final. You want to get into the questions, Steve?
Right, we got Reds for life, and honestly, this talk's going to piss me off. Would Salah or Mane have a better case for Ballon d'Or if Liverpool won the quadruple? You're not winning the quadruple. Calm down.
You're a hater.
It's on now, isn't it? It's on.
Yeah, it is on.
If
they win the quadruple, 99 gets rubbed off, innit?
Well, no.
It does, you know.
Does it bollocks? Good bollocks. For starters, you're not even winning the league. So how about take that out of it and sit down? Wow, stop counting chickens before they've hatched.
Second question, Steve.
Western Flows. This is for Anton, I think. Can you teach a player to scan, or is it something that they have to innately have?
Yeah, you can teach a player to scan. I do it with my son now. That's what I do. When I do little drills with him where I'll have someone standing behind him with 2 different colour cones, and when I'm playing, he's got to shout out the cone, whatever cone's up, whatever colour's up, he's got to shout out, and that's how he's learning to scan. So yeah, you can coach that 100%.
In our training sessions, I stand behind people if I think that they're not scanning and nail them from behind if they've not looked and seen me.
Oh, hard man, Steve.
I'll tell them I scan, and then I'll watch, and if they don't scan, then I'll go and stand behind them, and then the next time they receive it, just right bosh, because they should have been checking the shoulder. It's basics. Juba Mula says, "Who's your dream guest to interview on 5?"
Oh, that's for me and you, Steve.
I think you spoke to both of your dream guests. Not on camera, but they've both been on 5, I think. And I think Terry Henry and Arsene Wenger.
Definitely. You know what? It's so funny because I was actually going to say, I think I've spoken to both of them. I think, if I'm honest with you, the only one left would probably be I say left, but the ones I would like would be Cristiano Ronaldo, Mbappe, and Messi. For me, we do that.
I think I see Messi being boring, to be honest.
Maybe, but I'll definitely say Cristiano Ronaldo and Mbappe, like 100% for me. I would love that, man.
Do you know, I would actually love to see Messi, because although you might think, but I'd love to. I think from you guys in Rio, the questions will be different, because the questions are coming from a different angle. I'd like to understand and from his perspective, the reasons why he's been the way he's been and why he's been at the top. Is it the same as Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of, he's more natural, but in terms of his work ethic, is it the same as Cristiano Ronaldo's and stuff like that? I'd like to see that and hear that from his perspective.
Yeah, if David did Messi in person, I would absolutely crucify Rio. How'd you let him beat you in the air?
Oh man! Also, hey, listen, that Benzema one's going to be a legendary one when we actually get it done. You know, because
Oh my God, he scored again at weekend. Another winner.
That guy, bro.
He is
just an
flying. But yeah,
madness.
Fergie be mine. Fergie all day. And we're going to have to book in about 36 hours for it, I reckon.
Yeah, that's
Where
going
do
to
you
be
start, right? On a serious note, if they're like, you got an hour with Fergie, it's not enough.
Nah, listen, you got to take what you can get when you got Big Fergie in the room, man. Big Sir Alex, shall I say?
It come like no team when I clamp down fourth. Brighton sitting comfy in North London, sweep up, doing up chores. It's been 10 years. Sean Dash at Burnley, now he's done at Turf Moor. On the other hand, United get 10 hard, add points on the Turf Moor. Let's talk about goals. Heard Ronnie's a problem, but he's still banging in goals. Word is, 8 in the plans, big move, let's see how playing it goes. Still tight at the top, 1 point between, City ain't tryna budge. Fixtures all in a favour, but the fans think that the Reds got enough.
Guys, I think that's it for this week's episode of Vibe with Five. Anton, thank you very much for stepping in. Rio, thanks for sending in the clips. We appreciate it. Guys, let us know which guest you would like us to get on as well. I think that's a question for you guys. And make sure that you turn on the notifications. We're not just saying it for the sake of it to sound like YouTubers. It really, means that you don't miss the content that we've got coming. We've got loads of content, flying nowadays. So support us, help us, like we're trying to help you. So make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications. Myself, Joe Bayer, Stephen Howson, Anton Ferdinand will be back on 5 soon. Peace.